Thank you, Stefan. And hello, everyone. I hope you're all not too hungry. It's lunchtime somewhere. Well, it's past dinner time somewhere else, but I hope we all still have energy for this session. I want to welcome you all to this session, cloud or desktop or both. My name is Wortimla. I'm a solutions consultant at Adobe. And in this session, we will see how we can leverage the full potential of data authoring and publishing using a combo of both the Adobe CCMS, the one you've been hearing a lot about all this time, and FrameMaker, which kind of did pop up just a while ago in the previous session as well. So it looks like everybody just came together and thought, hey, this is going to be a good way to proceed forward because like all good things in life, this one's going to be sort of a story. So this morning, Dawn gave the keynote, and I'm like, okay, Dawn, we're vibing right there because she started with Once Upon a Time, and I'm like, I've got that too, you know. And then in the previous session, I see Bernard and Patrick talking a lot about how the integration between FrameMaker and AEM kind of happened rather seamlessly. We did see a bit on the FrameMaker side earlier with the 3M presentation as well. So I hope we still all have time and energy really to talk a little bit more about what we can really do with this. So, like all good stories, of course, it comes with a character. So once upon a time, there were two products. The first one is XML Documentation for Adobe Experience Manager. And the second one, of course, is FrameMaker. So XML Documentation for Adobe Experience Manager is a component content management system for technical documentation that ITs and even marketing teams to manage content from creation to delivery, providing a consistent customer experience across all touchpoints. Now, this consistency is important because when we really talk about data authoring, all of the pain that we go through to segment every single one of the topic types that typically comes with it, knowing what a conref is, knowing how to work with keys and maps and all of those crazy stuff really is worth it because it's the customer experience across various touch points that actually come into play with the metadata information that we are eventually going to work with and all of the nice things that does come with data. So when we look at this solution, it's primarily a web-based content creation tool. So you get a simple yet powerful web editor with advanced structured authoring capabilities that allows you to create granular, presentation agnostic, and variant-free content. And from a lot of our presenters today, we have seen how this exactly works. The second thing, primarily important area right here is structured content management. It's not merely a content management system that we're talking about here. It's a component content management system. So we're really drilling down, going really granular and looking at advanced content reuse, version management, link and dependency management, search and tag management, automated translation workflows, and content health reports. So it's all power-packed management going on right here. At the same time, we care about workflows. So it comes with an online review and collaboration functionality, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been hearing over the past 2 days between yesterday and today. But really, it comes with a very, very fast and easy web-based process that saves time and effort by allowing multiple authors to work simultaneously. And at the same time, gather feedback from various stakeholders simultaneously as well, allowing you to bring all of it together seamlessly into your authoring environment. So the online and review collaboration piece right there is very powerful, and you can build up various workflows as required right there as well. And finally, once you have all of this content, we want it to go out as outputs. So when we talk about output in the XML documentation solution for Adobe Experience Manager, we're not just talking about content, not merely just PDF or HTML5, but really as experiences, because what people really are buying these days is experience. They pay for the experience and not necessarily just for the product, because experience is part of the product now. So really, you can create all types of, you can create your single source, your content, and when you want to push it out as part of your output, you can maybe do that via traditional means like PDF maybe, or maybe HTML. But really, there are various other ways to put or publish your content out to as well, even fragments for that matter. So all of this encompasses the XML documentation for Adobe Experience Manager solution. And of course, it goes without saying that this is a cloud-based solution and essentially an all-in-one, one-stop kind of solution that we have right there. So let's quickly look at what some of these features look like. The first one, of course, is the simple editor, web editor that we're going out right here. So it looks very simple, very innocent right here, but really don't let the simplicity of it all fool you, because behind the scene it's really, really powerful, and really you can create any type of data content, any type of data topic type. If you need specializations, you can absolutely have them and really work with all types of content. And at the same time, if you want to work with, let's say, the code view, structure view, and so on, tags, really, you can have anything displayed right there on the screen editor as it pleases you. So this is really powerful and simple at the same time, making it friendly enough for all types of users, regardless of where your experience level is. The second one is the extensive metadata and taxonomy handling capabilities of the solution. So it goes without saying that you get advanced version management options. But really, before we actually get there, version management is one other thing that you do. But in terms of metadata and taxonomy that we're looking at right here, if you want to maybe add tags, filters, and so on, you can absolutely have them. If you need to keep track of what kind of references is going to, if you have, let's say, any incoming, outgoing, and all sorts of materials out there happening with your document set or with your particular topic, you can actually drill down and go into every single one of those pieces and really keep tagging them, marking them up, conditionalizing them as you go along, making your content friendly, making your content easy for machines to read, as well as for you eventually during management to publish out various types of publication for various types of customers. And also making the experience very customized and very personalized, which is essentially what you want to achieve in the long run. Of course, version management goes without saying. It comes with very extensive version management options, be it branching, be it, let's say, just comparing between versions, or really, if you want to drill back and go back to a previous version, revert, or move forward, you have all of those capabilities right there within the solution, and it's very, very easy to access as well. So, and of course, it goes without saying that you can perform check-in, check-out, all of the basic capabilities that you would expect from a CMS or a CCMS absolutely available, and you will be able to work with all of this using the merge or version control option right there within the solution. In terms of collaborative online review, it's one of the, I would say, one of the really nice features that we have there. And you can really easily send out maybe a single topic or complete maps out for review to stakeholders of your choice. Or what you can also do is you can decide who gets to review which topic. You get to decide, let's say, which baselines you want to start with, whether you want to send out maybe a different version or only a very specific version for a review. Or if you have, let's say, parallel versions going out for review, you can actually see which review comments came in which version and how it has evolved over time. You will be able to have all of those experiences and see every single one of them right there in the review functionality, and really have everything come together so that your review experience is good from a reviewer's perspective or from an SME's perspective. And at the same time, for you as an author, it's just easy to keep track of everything. You're not scratching your head. There is just no messy workflow floating right there to make your review difficult. And this is important because when I was a tech writer, I tell people all the time that I spend 70% of my time chasing after people, running after them, and trying to get my documents reviewed. And really, actual documentation is about 30% of the time. The rest of the time, we're trying to plan the project and really essentially going after people. But this kind of review functionality that we have right there within the solution eliminates all of those chasing after people, because you can build accountability, set deadlines, and all of those other nice things required to ensure that you have a very successful review. And of course, if you want to go global, or if you cater to a global audience, you care about translation as well. So you will want to localize your content, and we have various translation workflows baked in within the product. But really, if you need to translate to, let's say, 50 languages or 20 languages, you can absolutely do that. You can keep track of them very easily within the solution. And at the same time, you actually get to decide which ones go out for translation. For example, if something is out of date or not, or if you need to have, let's say, a parallel folder already created for project. You can have you can have all types of these permutations and combinations building together, baked in, whether it be it for machine translation, whether it be it for vendor level translation, whether it be it API. If you want to push your content out to your vendor directly using an API, you can have all of those combinations right there for translation as well. So from an authoring perspective, or from the author's perspective, this is also another big headache that we're really taking care of you with the simple process we have laid in here. And of course, finally, omni-channel publishing. So not necessarily just HTML and PDF, which everybody does talk about. And based on our TechCom survey that we had this year, it did come back with a couple of results that said that 90% of people still develop content and produce it as PDF. We have about 50% of people saying that HTML5 is their other key output format, and a lot of other formats that come maybe at a 20% level, 10% level. But at the same time, considering how we are going from just delivering PDFs and HTML to, let's say, content as a service, that's a term that gets thrown around all the time. Chatbots, API integration with various, let's say, CRMs, or even knowledge banks and so on. Using all of the all of these publishing options that we have in Adobe Experience Manager with the XML add-on, you can actually cater to all of these different types of output requirements that you have. And at the same time, if you have, let's say, things on Adobe sites, you can just push out content directly and take advantage of analytics using Target, or or all of the nice AI that comes along with it. Really a lot of possibility out there to make sure that people, your end users, are really getting what they deserve. And at the same time, you're also developing content that's not breaking your head, and at the same time, really covering every single area with very minimal effort from your end. So various publishing options available right there within the solution. Now, the XML solution that we just saw kind of came about in 2016. So not very old, but obviously very capable, and we've seen that it has had a running start with many success stories we've heard between yesterday and today. And at the same time, even the past years, we have heard many success stories. But really, the next product that we're talking about is FrameMaker. The FrameMaker, on the other hand, I like to call this product something that's been around since the beginning of time. Really, I don't want to give letting you guys know what my age is, but when FrameMaker came out, I was probably not born yet. Anyway, so this FrameMaker, and it's been within Adobe's product list for quite some time as well. But what I really like about FrameMaker is the fact that despite its age, it still continues to remain as one of the most robust authoring tools in the industry today, till date. Of course, there are other tools, fine desktop-based tools, but really, FrameMaker can still hold the light to all of them, really sitting out there, being a pioneer, and really working with different types of requirements day in, day out, churning out all the awesome content that FrameMaker has been doing for more than 2 decades now. So, for the uninitiated, here's a brief summary of what FrameMaker is. It is a market-leading software for authoring and publishing technical content. Now, when we talk about authoring in FrameMaker, we're really looking at different types of authoring, because FrameMaker supports all types of formats, including Data XML, which we're all in here very interested today, for DocBook, S1000D, custom XML, or even template-based FrameMaker authoring, which we like to call unstructured authoring. So really, you can do all types of authoring, and the best part, simultaneously. So really, there's no stopping you if you want to do just start creating a data kind of content, and then also create a simple unstructured document.
the FrameMaker doesn't stop you. Actually, it allows you to do both. So really, it has a lot of authoring capabilities, really nice enriching capabilities in terms of, let's say, working with videos, importing SVG graphics, 3D models, and so on, or even MathML equations. All of those requirements, FrameMaker handles them like a champ. So in terms of authoring, it's really robust. Now, considering that this is an authoring tool, you might say, you know what, okay, it has review, but what kind of review can it really give you? Well, the good news is that review in FrameMaker is very similar to what you would experience in the XML documentation solution for Adobe Experience Manager, but obviously not at that level. This one is, let's say, slightly at a baby level, but really you can have a collaborative review experience because FrameMaker also syncs up with Document Cloud and allows you to have a nice, seamless, active collaborative review functionality right there. At the same time, it allows you to translate content using the XLIF format. So if you want to, let's say, if you want to work with vendors, especially in the translation industry, the XLIF standard is what everybody works with. And if you attended Marcus's session yesterday, I am pretty sure he covered a lot of what goes into translation and why it's important and so on, or how we are dealing with translation in the industry. But really, what I'm trying to get at here is that FrameMaker supports translation using the XLIF standard. So really, you're good there, you're golden. And at the same time, when we talk about publishing, FrameMaker has one of the best WYSIWYG PDF publisher out there in the industry today. And we are going to look at a little bit more in depth on the publishing capabilities of FrameMaker today, because the WYSIWYG PDF editor and the publisher of FrameMaker is really powerful. And at the same time, responsive HTML, really easy to generate them, really easy to create and work with templates right from within FrameMaker. If you do not want to, go with some of the more standard ways of transforming your data content, if you want to use FrameMaker for those options, you can absolutely do that as well. The publishing options are available maybe for EPUBs as well, or even Kindle, a mobile app. All of those requirements will be available, and FrameMaker can handle them. So, but really, the whole point of today's conversation is not really a comparison of what FrameMaker can do, what the XML solution can do, but rather, what I'm trying to get at here is the fact that if we have these two tools that we have right there, how can we pull the best use out of both? Is there something that FrameMaker is really good at that can probably boost the Adobe Experience Manager, the RXML solution on Adobe Experience Manager? If there is, I'd like us to explore that. So I'm just going to show a couple of slides because we will not be able to get too much into the details of what FrameMaker creates content, but really, I like to take out from these 4 big points that FrameMaker has the authoring side, because it's one of its biggest strengths, and really, when blended with the CCMS solution, it really shines. So this is kind of what it looks like, FrameMaker. This is FrameMaker, and right from within FrameMaker, you can definitely start creating any topic type, be it a topic, task, concept, reference, whatever it is that you want, you can absolutely begin creating your content right from within FrameMaker. So, and it does support all data versions. So whether it be data 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, or even lightweight data, you should be able to get around with it and work in it. And at the same time, once you are inside FrameMaker and really working with your content, doesn't matter how big and complex your data map is, because with FrameMaker, you can work with anything because of the very nature of its robustness. So you can work with complex data maps. And at the same time, if you're comfortable using shortcuts for inserting your elements, you can absolutely use shortcuts to insert elements. And really, at the same time, work with the structure view that you have right within FrameMaker, the tree view, to really navigate through your content and really actually add and build out your content very seamlessly. Now, the structure view that you have right here, the tree view, is something that the web editor will not necessarily have. There is a text equivalent of it on the web editor, but really, for those of you who are more used to this environment already, who likes having the structure, seeing the structure on a day-to-day basis, FrameMaker really still has this, and exclusively and primarily for your data content as well, and XML or structure-based content.
So really, now that we've come to this solution and really thinking about these two products, when we think about these two products and them merging together, where we are in the story right now is that, well, our two characters, let's say our XML solution and FrameMaker, kind of decided to get married. So our story goes like this. So, well, they went ahead, got a couple ring, ate a three-tiered cake, and popped up open a bottle of champagne, maybe, and then, well, drank the champagne, took a lot of pictures, and essentially they got married. So we're now not looking at two entities anymore, but one entity with FrameMaker and the XML documentation solution for Adobe Experience Manager really coming together and giving the best of each other. This leads to FrameMaker benefiting from all the component content management capabilities of the AEM solution, but really also a way for the AEM solution to, at the same time, to have the ability to blend and work with users that require, let's say, a desktop authoring tool, or maybe people that do not have constant, uninterrupted internet connection. Like, let's say, for example, Bernard, he popped out several times today. And, well, it's good. It's nice. That's a Canadian internet playing its jokes on him. But really, if he were to, let's say, work all the time on just a web editor, I have a feeling that he might be interrupted a couple of times in a day. So really, for people that does not have steady internet connection, which does tend to happen once in a while, really, sorry, Bernard, but really, FrameMaker can really be a boon to this kind of user groups. So really, we can have the best of both worlds. So in terms of authoring and management, it kind of looks like this. FrameMaker gets an out-of-the-box connector right there within FrameMaker, where you can very easily connect to your Adobe Experience Manager's, let's say, URL connection. And then once you do that, once you establish this connection, and it can be, let's say, you can sign in via your single sign-on, for example, so you don't have to sign in every single time. It'll automatically recognize that it's you. Or you can have a user ID and password if that's how you like to work. But really, FrameMaker comes with this connector out of the box, and you can very easily connect to it. Now, of course, once it's connected, you can browse the AEM repository directly from within FrameMaker. So all of the content and all of the capabilities that you have right from within FrameMaker on the AEM side will all come in here, flowing into FrameMaker, and you can access every single thing. So this folder structure that you see right there is actually the folder structure that you will see when you go out and access it via your AEM site as well. So you have that right there. And at the same time, from right within FrameMaker, you have all of these nice context menus now. So you can check in content, check out content, or check out files. And at the same time, let's say if you're creating new content from within FrameMaker, what's going to happen is you can just upload the files directly to this to any of these folders, or you can also build and create a new folder right here. Or at the same time, you can always say, you know what, I'm going to upload this new content that I've built directly from FrameMaker, just push it out there by uploading files, and then all of this content will automatically flow over to this DAM that we have right here. And on the web interface side, on the AEM side, if you're still out there as well, you will start seeing all of these changes reflect automatically. So both of these talk to each other, and you have all of this really, really nice, simple menu options, not too confusing at all, to just let you achieve what you need to do every day, which is creating content, checking in, checking out, working with the content. So, and at the same time, let's say, considering how there are a lot of metadata and tags and all of those useful information right there sitting within your AEM repository, essentially what you can do is right from within FrameMaker, you have these advanced search options. So if you need to, let's say, look for anything, find something in terms of a guide or whatever, you can use full text search, or if you can also use the modification dates to filter out your content. You can select the file type. Maybe it might be FrameMaker files, images, multimedia, whatever. Doesn't really matter. You can filter types. Or at the same time, if you have established tags, what you see right here are, of course, out of the box tags. But really, if you have specified any tags that you have out there, you can absolutely just add them right here. and click on search, and it will go filter out, look all through the complete repository based on the path that you define here, and find the content for you, presenting it to you, making sure that you don't have to dig through all of this content from the repository. And obviously, once you check out your files, you work on it, and when you're ready, you check in your files, add a comment, and you're good to go. A new version gets saved. And right from within FrameMaker, you can open a very particular topic on AEM, or from AEM, you can also open a topic directly in FrameMaker. So you have this nice roundabout way right there, very easy menu, nothing too confusing here. But really, you can have this nice roundabout way experience right here as well. So this means that we have all of these resources right here, both talking to each other. It's not complicated, but you have the power of and the ability to create your content in FrameMaker, and at the same time have the ability to just blend it with all the goodness that comes with the XML solution for Adobe Experience Manager. So in terms of publishing, really, considering the fact that the XML solution has omni-channel kind of publishing output formats supported, really, a lot of times you may want to use the publishing options right there. But then when it comes to PDF content generation, primarily what Adobe Experience Manager with our XML solution uses is that you go with either, let's say, FrameMaker publishing server, which allows you to do automated publishing using the STS files that you have, or you go with ADW20. So if you were to build out, let's say, PDF content, that's going to be kind of a pain. ADW20 is not the friendliest thing out there. You'll have to develop everything, so just not worth it in a lot of ways, but still very good if you already established. But making changes very difficult out there. Or in terms of content experiences and fragmentation, if you want, absolutely. Or if you want to push out directly to AEM sites, you can absolutely use the one on the AEM site. But really, from within FrameMaker, if you want to create or push out content to, let's say, PDF or responsive HTML5 for that matter, you can absolutely do that. All the contents that you have in the repository can be pushed out for let's say, for output generation from right within FrameMaker. So really what you get here is a very, very true WYSIWYG PDF experience. And this image that I have right there, it's from one of Chat's project. I really liked it, how it all came together. So for aesthetic purposes, I'm putting this in. But really, this is exactly what you're going to see while authoring in FrameMaker, and that's not the experience that you will get elsewhere. So if you want to know what your output's going to be like, just create your content in FrameMaker, and this is exactly what you're going to see. When you generate your output, this is still going to be exactly what you see. So no surprise here. You still get the true WYSIWYG PDF experience that FrameMaker boasts of, and you will continue to get that even when you do data authoring. And when it comes to HTML5, really, you also have this highly customizable HTML5 responsiveness settings that you can really have from within FrameMaker. So if you've been using FrameMaker for a while or for a long time, doesn't really matter. All of the settings continue to be available, and you can design your output in however way you want. You can brand it if you like, but really all of those UI options are available right within FrameMaker that will allow you to do this without having to code or even write a line of script. So this is also another really, really nice option that we have in there, and something you can absolutely use in FrameMaker. So with that said, let's dive in and go into look at the product. Okay. Be taking this long, but this is normally what happens when you run something. Okay, so here it is. If you need to connect to a repository, and this is the landing page of the latest version of FrameMaker, we released a new release earlier this year. We call it the summer release, 2020 summer release. So this is the latest version, and it's telling me that my version is up to date. The current version is available right here. I can actually provide feedback, product feedback right here from within my welcome screen. But really, if I want to begin creating content, just pick any of these topic types and really go to town. But what I want to do right here is actually connect to a repository. So I have this right here, and all I need to do right here is actually do this. I choose a connection, which would be Adobe Experience Manager, and give the name and alias or whatever I can give to one, provide the server details. So this is what I have right here, my demo server details, but for you, it will be based on your organizations, whatever details you have. But really, if you want to use single sign-on, just select this option, and you will be able to use the single sign-on options. But really, if you need to use username and password, absolutely do that. And then define the workspace where it's going to all pick from, and then define a local folder. Now this one's important because all of the let's say if you check out stuff and you want to have things lying in your local repository, this is where it's going to go. This is where it's going to be reflecting all of the changes in. So make sure that you select this in a location that's going to work for you. But really, that's about it. If you want to connect to this location, this is all you do. And really, if I go to my AEM repository, let's quickly do this. If I go to this link, this is what I have, and I'm logged in already, but really it would take me to the landing page, and this is what we have. This is what we've been seeing all this time between yesterday and today, and all I'm doing is just taking this link and putting it down there and connecting my FrameMaker, trying to connect my FrameMaker with AEM. So I do this, I hit connect, and a repository would open. Now, in the interest of time, I've kind of like just done that already. So essentially what happens is when you hit connect, this is what pops up. So I have AEM right here, and if I have multiple, I will actually be able to select multiple repositories and really work with that. And if I need to close connection, I just hit this one, and really just the connection will be disconnected, obviously. And if I want to add a new connection, I can absolutely add a new connection as well. So of course, if I want to add recent favorites and stuff like that, I can absolutely do that. But really what we're looking at and what I want to show you guys here is this repository structure right there. You have all of this available right there that will allow you to navigate to any location you want. And if you need to work with any of this content type you have right there, you can absolutely do that. You can check it out, check it in. Like I said earlier, you can just right click on it and start checking out all this content. Now you can check out with dependents. So let's say if you have conrefs that you're referencing to or links that you're referencing to another topic. If you want to work with them and actually see all of this right there within FrameMaker, you can absolutely check out with all of the dependents as well. Or you know what, if you just want to see it, you can just open it or view dependents. Entirely up to you, really. But you have all of this showing up right here that you can absolutely work with. And at the same time, at a folder level, if you want, you can actually upload files or new files to this folder, for example. Or if you want to create a brand new folder, you should be able to create a brand new folder when you have new content. So really, all of the options that you need to work with your content and really be successful while working with this content is all available right here in a simple right-click button. Now, at the same time, I did show you guys this earlier, but really, if you want to use advanced search functionality, it's just right here. Just click on this, hit on the advanced search, whether it be full text or the path. So if I add the full text like a word right here, and really, let's say, excuse me. So let's say if I add a user guide, for example, and I look for it within this content or this path. Really, if it doesn't have anything, it will give me return 0 results. So you have this right there. So maybe just decide where the path, to what extent you want to search in. So know your folder structure, but apart from that, that's really it. You can decide when the last modified date is and so on, maybe from September or whatever, or to today. file types. So if you have any specific file types that you're really looking for, if they're business tags and any of these tags that you have or other tags defined, you can absolutely just use any of these options and really just use the search functionality to find content that you're really looking for. So all of this is available right here. Now, let's say we have this data map right here. So if I want to work with this, I can actually right click on this and check it out. And once I do that, a lock will be added right here in this data map. So I will actually be able to, nobody else will be able to work on this. If I go into my data from the AEM side, if I actually go into this folder structure and look at this data map that I have right here, it will tell me, or to the administrators or users who has actually checked out this topic at the moment. So really, this is the topic. These are all the topics that came with this data map, and I can absolutely just begin working on this right here. So it's about navigation and getting lost in content. I can actually just begin adding content right here as well if I want. And it is as simple as this. Now, obviously, since we are working in the XML structure side, if we want to view the tree view. So I have my tree structure view right here, and I can expand this and work with this. A lot of times, what I also like to do is work with work in two monitors so that I have my structure view and all these other options right there floating out there as required, and really having my authoring space as the center of everything. But if that's what you want to do or how you want to work, you can absolutely do that. Or I'm just going to dock the structure view right here down below for now. Oops, not there. Yeah, okay. And at the same time, if you want to, let's say, go have a look at the code on the XML view, we have some really good XML view that we have right there. And really, even the XML view comes with a really nice structure view. So it's all content at this point, but really, if you want to look and search for any type of element or any type of content from within the structure, let's say this is right now it's a small topic, but if we want this to be a bigger topic and really work with it, we can absolutely do that using the structure view as well. So I can very easily look for, let's say, something like FrameMaker, for example. So inside FrameMaker, if I just type structure view FrameMaker, really I'm not seeing anything right now. Interesting. But let's say I look for magic. I have content right here. And for some reason, it's not working, but essentially what's going to happen is if it did work as expected, it will take me directly to the paragraph where I have this content, and we will be able to find the content and navigate to it. So this is helpful for when you have bigger documents or bigger topics and really work with them, navigate through them. But really, if you want to just work in this XML view as well, you can absolutely do that. You have all of your valid elements showing up right here, and you can just select any one of them and really work with them. So for now, I can very easily just add a p tag. I close it, and I have all this content showing up right here. So very easy to work with content right here within the XML structure view as well. That's what you like. But really, what I'm trying to get here is that if this is something you're already familiar with, if this is something that you are already comfortable working in, it's not rocket science, and you will easily be able to work with your content very seamlessly right here within FrameMaker. So let's say we have all of this content right here, and I actually want to open this content up from my repository manager right in AEM. So if I want to do that, I'm just going to hit on the I'm just going to right click it and click on Open in Server. So when I do that, it's going to take me directly to this data map that I have right there in FrameMaker, and I can actually just close this if I want and view it if I want, or really actually just have this folder showing up right there. So I have the summer release right here. If I want to edit it and work in it, it will tell me exactly, it will allow me to do exactly that. It's also telling me that this is checked out by you right now. So I'm working on it. So I probably wouldn't be able to make changes to this. But really, if I want to edit any of the topics that I have in here right now, I should be able to do that. And obviously, I can check in as a different version if I like. So a lot of possibilities right here in terms of going to round tripping through content types and really working very seamlessly between the authoring space in FrameMaker as well as the authoring space
or as well as the web editor right here on the XML solution. So that's all in terms of authoring, but let's say we have all this content that we really want to work with. We are working with it. Now that we have worked with this content, let's say we want to generate our output. Now on the AEM side, really, if I want to work with this content and generate output, I'm just going to close without saving for now. But really, if I want to work with this content and generate output, essentially what I can do is I can just hit on, you know what, let me just select this and actually just generate any of these output types that we have right there. So you can generate your output absolutely, but for this output type that you have right there, the settings will have to come from somewhere, at least for PDF and for HTML, for example. In FrameMaker, if you were to make or generate any type of output, essentially what you're doing or going at right here is this. So you have all this content, well and good. Essentially what you'll do is you are going to generate, you're just going to publish your output right there. So you have this content, well and good. Here's your PDF option. And really, if you generate this out of the box, you will be able to work with a lot of this content. But if you need to, let's say, make changes to this content, change the layout because it's PDF that we have right there, if you need to change the structure of it, how it looks and so on, all you need to do is just go with what you're familiar with, change the STS settings. So if you were to change the STS settings, go behind the scene and make all of those changes, it will reflect automatically when you generate your output. So right now, here's the output that we have right there. Here's Adobe with the summer release and everything. And you'll notice very quickly that this data map came with a contents panel, with an introduction and so on, and with all this content right there. So behind the scene, if you go have a look at what the PDF setting has, we have all of this available right there. So we have the general settings as always, but we also have data specific settings. So if you want to work with any of the data templates right there, we have everything available out of the box. We have added a lot of templates that you can work with, so you do not have to create and design anything. So for example, I have this book title right here, and right now this is kind of how the book title looks. So if I were to switch this logo out with something else, for example, it would make it very difficult traditionally if I use let's say a different output format type. So what I can do is I can very easily just import or export this format and then just very easily edit it within FrameMaker. So I can very easily do that. Let me just export it for now. And book title, TPL. Okay, let's save this. Okay, or at the same time, if you want to import from a folder that you already have as part of your branding, you can absolutely do that right there down below instead of going through it individually. But really, you can really go into every single one of this. Now, let's quickly open the book title that we've just exported out from here and see what we can do out there. So I'm going to just navigate from here and click on Open. Open this one because this is what we have right here, and click on Open. So once I do this, this is the template that we have right there, the logo, and I really want to replace this logo. So just like we would normally do with a normal FrameMaker file, I would just come in here and actually just switch to my master pages and very easily just come in here. And for this, let me switch to the design workspace. Okay. So I have this right here, and I have this logo that I don't really want to work with, so I just delete it. And maybe, you know what, let me very quickly add a graphic frame. And let's say I have this graphic frame, and all I need to do now is actually import the graphic that I want to replace the logo with. So I just come in here, let me import a graphic. Okay, let me pick something from my desktop. And let's say we have this Adobe Data World banner right here. So I'm going to copy into the document, click on import. And let's say we want to go with a slightly smaller size. So I set a DPI, set it, and we have this right here. So I have this image right here that I want to generate as part of my output, replace the logo that I originally had. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this file. And essentially what I'm going to do is, now that this is saved, I'm just going to close. And then from my published settings, I'm just also going to go ahead and edit and then add this new logo that we have just updated. So I just come in here, again, go to book title and import it. So this time we're going to select the same book title. I click on Open, it's imported
We're good. I'm going to save and close and generate the output one more time. You'll notice very, very quickly that it has the new, okay, let's close this for a minute. And you'll notice that we can very easily generate this output. And as you go along and as you generate, you are going to start seeing all these updates. That's fine. That's a FrameMaker feature. But really, once it's done, we will start seeing this the new cover page that we've just updated. That took us let's say less than two minutes to do. So here we go. Let's view the output, and voila, here we go. So really, if you need to make any of these kind of changes for any of your data documents to work with in, let's say, in FrameMaker or from within FrameMaker, it's very, very easy. If you have, let's say, a list of figures and list of tables and indexes and so on, FrameMaker will automatically add them for you based on whatever setting you have selected. So essentially, it just makes life so much more easier because everything is on the surface for you right there using FrameMaker, and you can really leverage this. Now, this settings file that you have right there, if you're let's say utilizing something like FrameMaker Publishing Server on the AEM side, you can very easily just upload this settings file, just drag and drop, put it on a folder on the AEM side wherever you want. And essentially just come out here and say, hey, when you generate the output, just use the settings file that I'm going to navigate from here and find it from there. So you can very easily reuse your settings files in this manner as well. For example, let's say I have this right here, and I have a settings file, and I just drag and drop and bring it in here. So once I have this on my AEM site, and I can have as many settings files as I want, essentially. So when I generate my output, essentially, I can very easily say, you know what, while generating my output, I want to generate, let's say, a FrameMaker Publishing Server PDF. So essentially what I can do is I can just say, you know what, use FrameMaker Publishing Server, and then go pick the settings file that we've just uploaded. So I can very easily do that. I'm just going to navigate to my content structure, go to assets, essentially just come down here for a minute, go to my English folder right here, and come down to samples, and actually come down to Data World 2020 that we have right there, and summer release, and here's the settings file. I'm going to select it, and this is good to go. So I'm just going to say, hey, use this, and this is exactly what's going to be used when generating my output, for example. So this is the settings file. So it's very, very easy to just make, even if you do not use FrameMaker for authoring and for everything else, if you have this and if you have the expertise, it's just very easy to use the settings in FrameMaker to make all of these changes. Now, at the same time, if you want to generate responsive HTML5, you can absolutely do that. And again, the same thing, you can always edit it and make whatever changes you want for your responsive 5 settings in terms of look and feel. So you can always edit, go behind the scene, make whatever changes you need to make. Now, I know this may not exactly be what you're looking for if you want to do intense branding. So if you need to use CSS, or if you need to use a more extensive HTML layout, you can absolutely do that. But really, for the more basic stuff, you do not need to do any development work to get any of this work done. So you can absolutely use any of these options right here as well. But really, using all of the little functionalities that we have here in terms of PDF settings, maybe be it data templates or data options in terms of what gets generated as part of your output, or maybe even something as simple as liquid mode PDF that we have in FrameMaker, or even for responsive HTML5, considering the fact that everything is just going to all of the settings is going to come with your STS files, you can really knock yourself out and go fix whatever you need to fix right there, and then just generate your output. That's all there is to it in terms of generating your output. So let's very quickly do this generation and see, because I did mention that this is all responsive, this is all the good data content. So really, this data content that we have right here is actually going out to our generation option that we have that we've just selected for HTML5, and really just processing all of this and giving us the same output in HTML5 format. So here we go. Here's our introduction, and here's everything else. So if I click on it, it takes me right there. It comes with a parent topic and everything. So really not rocket science here, but really easy content to work with. In terms of interface, considering the fact that this is HTML5, very friendly layout, it's going to resize based on what your screen size is. And really the menu collapses if it's a tablet, for example, and the text and the images will also resize if it's a smaller screen. Very, very easy, friendly content to work with. Now, considering the fact that I've shown you all of these things right here, the bigger question right here is, is it okay if you use just FrameMaker to create data content, considering the fact that FrameMaker can do just that, and considering the fact that FrameMaker also comes with out-of-the-box data authoring capabilities, or is the cloud version that we have in terms of the XML solution for AEM that we have is enough, especially with the web-based editor? And that kind of debate, I'm going to leave it up to you to really decide what your requirements are, because a lot of times these requirements are niche. So if you are familiar with FrameMaker, really want to work with a CCMS or CMS of your choice, absolutely, that's up to you. But really, if you need to have the best of both worlds, it kind of makes sense to use a blend, considering the fact that FrameMaker plugs in very seamlessly with the AEM solution. So with that said, I have one last slide right here that I want to go back to. So why use FrameMaker with Adobe Experience for with XML documentation for Adobe Experience Manager? Really a couple of reasons. The first fact is that, and somehow my PPT is not responding. Let's try that again. Yeah. Okay, the first point is that it's a familiar user interface for authors. So if you are somebody, or if you are an author who is used to creating content in FrameMaker, there really is nothing to learn or relearn. So if all you need to do is just connect to your to the XML documentation DCMS that we have right there, like you would normally do with any CMS. Connect, check in, check out, connect your repository, work on your content, and eventually once you're done, check it back in. So really, it's all familiar interface and familiar turf that we're really going at here. So it's just friendlier, and it's just easier for people to work with something they're familiar with. At the same time, if your requirements include, let's say, something creating content in multi-format or multi-standard, although it's generally not recommended to work on various standards, but let's say if you are an organization that works on various standards for different projects, you absolutely need to have that. It's absolutely possible to do that in FrameMaker. And at the same time, if you are considering, let's say, moving to AEM, like 3M is doing, for example, the gradual migration process, if you need to have that, it's possible to do that right from within FrameMaker. So you might want to consider that from that angle as well. At the same time, it comes with a very, very tight two-way integration with the Adobe Enterprise CCMS. So nothing like that. It talks to each other. It's one product under one umbrella, two different products under one umbrella, but really like brothers and sisters, or in this case, or in our scenario, husband and wife. So really, we really have this really, really nice tight integration happening right there. And it's just easier when everything comes from the same house. At the same time, WYSIWYG PDF is absolutely awesome and easy to use. Customized responsive HTML output, HTML5 output is also something really cool, although not groundbreaking, but really, really nice to have out there, especially with data content. And finally, you have offline editing, which may be a requirement sometimes. So a lot of times, not all of your users may require to have FrameMaker as a desktop extension for your AEM solution. But at the same time, it can just be, let's say, 5 authors out of 50 authors that you have. But if they do need the desktop solution, you can absolutely have a blend of both, because it's possible. And you can just have those few required people work with the desktop solution while the rest of your folks all work on the web editor for, let's say, lightweight editing. So all those possibilities and combinations are going to come into play when you make a decision of this sort. There really is no, okay, this is the #1 rule and you must go with this. There really is no rule of that sort. So the decision making is entirely up to you, but I like the fact that we have all these possibilities and all combinations and permutations are possible with this solution. So with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. I'd like to say that FrameMaker and the XML documentation solution for Adobe Experience Manager, well, they kind of did end up making a very, very good couple, supporting each other, just being there where they need it, where they need each one to be there if required, and really lived happily ever after. So there's it, the end. So if you I don't know, want to know more about both of our main characters from my session today, you can reach out to us in this details that I have on the slide right here. Thank you all very much.